Hello my friends, my name is Andrew Michael, and in this video we are going to talk about the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, when you're considering should you purchase a new construction home or should you purchase a resale, and what does all that mean? We're going to get at it right now. Alright, welcome back. So when I say a resale home, what does that mean exactly? Well, it means that somebody else bought it from a builder, or maybe several people have bought that individual home at different periods of time, and now it's available for sale for you. Or new construction, where you're buying directly from the builder. And we help our buyers with both. So and every day we have people reach out to us from all over the country, and we absolutely love it. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, whatever you want. The number, emails, phone numbers, everything's down below. Day or night, we have your back. So go ahead and reach out to us. Now with that out of the way. Okay, so should you purchase a home directly from the builder, or should you purchase from an individual who has already owned it and lived in it? That's what today's video is about. And I can't tell you exactly what you should do, but what I will do is give you the pros and cons, the things that we provide to our buyers, so you can make an informed decision for what's best for your family. All right, so first, let's go into the pros for new construction. Number one, you shouldn't, I say shouldn't, have any maintenance for a long period of time. Well, why is that? Well, the roof is brand new. The foundation is new. The walls are new. Everything's new. So assuming you have a 25-year architectural shingle roof, which I'm not guaranteeing it'll last that long, but that's typically what they should last, it should be a long time before you have to put a new roof in. On the other hand, if you have that 25-year roof, but the house is 15 years old and it didn't get a re-roof, well, then you can expect if you own your home anywhere close to 10 years that you're probably going to have to put a new roof on at one point. So one of the first and the biggest pros on new construction is that you shouldn't have anything beyond regular yearly maintenance for the first several years that you own the home. Number two is you may be able to choose colors, options, things like that. Okay, so when you purchase new construction, that can look one of two different ways. Number one, and usually what happens, before COVID, it was different, but after, and I'm not saying COVID is completely eradicated, but what I am saying is the COVID real estate market is not currently upon us, thank God. So before that, yeah, you could go in, you could pick your lot, you could pick your model, you can, within reason, you can build what you wanted depending on what the builder and the community allowed and what the builder offered. But now what typically happens is most builders, now if you're buying a luxury home or a higher end home, this is different. But for a lot of them, they've already have purchased, they've already got the permits. They may have already started construction. So you can't change anything that affects the permits. So in other words, if you want to add to the footprint of the home, if you want to add a bathroom, if you want to do stuff like that, you may not be able to do it with new construction. But you may be able to pick the flooring. You may be able to pick the countertops, stuff like that. That really doesn't affect the permit. It just depends on the builder. So that's a pro, is you can put your own touch on the new home. With resales, that's obviously not going to happen. The house has already been lived in. Now, that being said, you could put in new countertops, you could paint, you can put in new flooring. So you have those options too, but it's not quite as quick and easy as it is with new construction. Number three, and there's no getting around this, when you buy a new construction home, you get that new home feeling. When Lindsay and I purchased our home, it was a new build, and yeah, it was great. You get that new home smell. There wasn't any weirdness that somebody else had maybe like 20 accent walls or something strange. No, it was like just the way we wanted it, just the way we picked it for us to move into and start our lives. That's kind of neat. And you'd only get that really with new construction. So that is the number three pro. Number four, home warranty. Now, you can purchase a home warranty when you get a resale. That has to be negotiated at the time of contract. I'm not getting into those. That's a whole other topic, but it is an option. However, with new construction, most builders will do a 1-year, what we call bumper-to-bumper warranty. That means if anything except for the appliances are typically covered by the manufacturer. But anything to do with the home itself, typically within that first year, if anything happens, they will come out and fix it. After that, it kind of moves more towards the structural items. So, like the roof, the HVAC, stuff like that. If you have issues down the road, then they should still be covered under warranty. But you need to check because each builder is a little bit different. So I've seen some that are like 1, 10, 15, 1, whatever. Again, each builder is a little bit different. I don't want to quote anything on here. But they all typically share that 1-year bumper to bumper. And one thing to check on that too is if you do sell the home, does that warranty go to the new buyer? Because many of the builders, it does not. So if you own your home in the first year, you decide to sell for whatever the reason, your buyer will not be able to take over that warranty, or may not be able to take it over. So anyway, so a home warranty that comes straight from the builder is a definite plus to new construction. Last but not least is builder incentives. So most sellers are not going, the problem is, okay, so with builders, they're selling usually in this area. We have big builders that are building all over the area, and a lot of them all over the country. So because they have what's called economy of scale, they can offer things that an individual seller can't. For instance, right now, the average interest rate is probably a hair below 8%, but I could take you to certain builders who will give you around a 4 or 5% interest rate. That could change tomorrow, but as of right now, it is available. And that is one of the big draws to new construction, is that you could take advantage of builder incentives that, yeah, a seller might be able to pay a portion of your closing costs or a portion of your prepaid expenses, but they're usually not going to be able to offer you as much as what a builder can, especially if we're in a market where the homes are not selling themselves and flying off the market. So, and by the way, that is something that we can do on our team. If we're working with, or when we're working with our buyers, we can absolutely try to negotiate the best deal from either a seller or from a builder. All right, so next up, let's talk about the cons, or the negatives, the bad things about new construction. And by the way, if I miss anything, and if you had a good or a bad experience with a build, definitely throw it in down below. I'd be curious to hear, and I'll comment on it. Okay, so the next thing for negatives is going to be, you may not know the timeline for when your new home will be built. So what does that mean? Some, like I said before, most builders, not all, but most builders will make you wait until the permits come out. But even so, it's kind of hard. Like, for instance, if you're living your life and you've got kids and you've got your kids enrolled in a school, you can't give a definite time for when you're going to be in your new home. Whereas if you purchase a resale, I think the fastest I've ever closed a deal on a resale was less than a week. It was a weird situation. It probably will not happen with you. I don't want to go into it. It has nothing to do with you, so I'm not going to discuss it. But in that case, I had a seller that was in dire straits. They needed the money. They needed it now. And so I was standing in front of the house with my calling my cash buyers until, sure enough, I had one that came in and bought the house. Great. But typically, though, if there's cash, you can close it in 2 to 3 weeks, and it's not really that hard to do. If you're getting financing, then anywhere from 30 to 45 days is the norm, and you can probably do it faster if you wanted to, and if the seller wanted to. So with the resale, one thing that you get is you get a faster closing if that's what you want. The number 2 con for new construction is interest rate. Sometimes it's not a big deal, but in the current current market that we're in now, interest rates keep going up. So you could go under contract, let's say 3 or 4 months ago, and the interest rate at that time was 6%. So you look at your payment, you look at all that stuff. Okay, great. Well, today they're almost 8%. And so if you haven't closed on this house yet, you may not be paying the 6% that was around at the time when you signed the contract. You're going to be paying the market rate when you lock the rate. And that's almost like timing the stock market or cryptocurrency or something. You can guess it's not going to go up or down, but you don't know. I don't know. It's not an easy thing to do. Now, there is a way to hedge that, and that is something we do with our buyers when we're working new construction long term. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Reach out to us, and I can show you one way we may be able to do that if this one particular lender is still offering that product. But in any case, so that is a definite downside or a con to new construction, is in this rising interest rate environment, you may end up paying way more for a monthly payment than what you were expecting, where had you bought a resale, you would have closed in 30 days and it would have been whatever it was. Okay, the next thing is new construction homes are not always well built, and that is a fact of life. I have heard many buyers tell us when we're working with them, oh, I don't need a, what do you call it? I don't need an inspection because it's a new construction home. Yeah, you do. You definitely need a home inspection. So you could do home inspections at different times. There's some inspectors who will do them like right when they clear the lot. They'll do another one when they lay the foundation. They do it incrementally. Or you could just have one done like a resale, so it's done when the house is complete. You definitely want to do it then. You also want to do an inspection report at the 11-month mark. Reason being is, remember we talked about that 1 year bumper to bumper? Well, warranty. Well, you definitely, because, how do you know if there's like damage to like the granular loss on the shingles on the roof. You're not going to know that. Or all these other things with the HVAC, which unless you're like working that industry, you're not going to look at it and know what you're looking at. So you definitely want to have the home inspector come in, you know, when you buy the house and after you've owned it for 11 months for new construction. But to my point though from earlier, just because it's new construction doesn't mean it's well built. And so I've seen some horrors, some nightmares. I haven't had any too bad with our buyers, but I have seen some crazy stuff in our area. Last but not least is amenities. So many of the communities here in St. Johns County are large master plan communities that have all these great amenities and water slides and zip lines and all this neat stuff. Okay, but you may or may not know what's coming, and you may or may not know who can use it. So here's what I mean by that. I was showing homes, I'm not going to say the name of the builder, but I was showing new construction homes with our buyers, and the site agent told my buyers, like, oh, okay, in Shearwater, the amenities are right over here, but they're going to build more amenity centers in the future. And so I asked the site agent, where are they going to build these new amenities? Because I had not heard this. She couldn't give me a location. I pulled up the county map. Now, in that case, I believe it's Freehold Communities that owns Shearwater, at least that's the corporate entity that builds it. Couldn't find any land anywhere for new amenities. Now, at that same time frame, Nocatee was saying the same thing. They were saying next to their splash park was going to be a spray park. Or I don't think they announced the spray park at that point yet, but they did say that this area would be new amenities, and they were polling the residents to see what they wanted. Well, in that case, I could show my buyers, yep, in the case of Nocatee, here's the land, and this will one day be more amenities. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you it will be, because they've set aside the land. They've already said that that's what they're going to do. Where in the case of Shearwater, there was no land set aside, so obviously there was not going to be any amenities. That person was not telling us the truth. So that's one thing. The other thing is you may not know how many households are going to be sharing those amenities. For instance, the people who bought into Nocatee in 2000 and I believe like 2008, when the first homes were being sold there, they had no idea probably that there would be more than 12,000, 13,000, whatever it's going to end up being, homes in that community. Now they have kept in Nocatee's case, they have kept building amenities along with to keep up with the demand, but a lot of communities don't. So in the case of Shearwater, for instance, at first it was a lot of single family homes, which, okay, you get into the amenities, it wasn't that many homes. But then they started cranking out a lot of townhouses. And Nocatee, there's, off the top of my head, I think there's about 3 or 4 apartment communities, meaning they're strictly rentals, and their houses on top, their condos, their apartments on top of apartments on top of apartments. And so every single one of those people can use those amenities too, which means you have thousands of residents using those same amenities. So that is something you need to consider. If you go, like let's say you were to buy a resale in Jointon Creek Plantation, you can go right now and you can go to Jointon Creek Plantation and you can see all the homes that will ever be built, because I think there's one section that's still finishing up. If it's not finished yet, it may be. But all the other homes, the vast majority of the community is built. So you can see what the amenities are. You can see how many homes are going to use them. There's no guesswork. It's all right then. It's all there. Where if you're one of the first people to buy in a new construction community, you're not going to know all of that. I mean, and whatever the site agents say, no disrespect if a site agent's watching this, but many of them won't tell the truth. And the way to get around that, by the way, is if we're dealing with a site agent. Now, I'll go verify it because I know how to do that, and my agents know how to do that. But if you don't, one thing that you could try doing is texting or emailing so you have it in writing. Hey, you said that they're building a new amenity center. Where is that? If they call you and they won't put it in the text thread or they won't put it in an email that you can save, then it's up to you to decide whether they're telling the truth or not. But there you go. After having done this for 10 years, that is some of the pros and the cons, the good and the bad for buying new construction. I really appreciate your time. My name is Andrew Michael, and if you got any value at all out of this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps me come up in ratings. And if you want to keep seeing videos like this, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to meeting you in person. Take care.